The committee is going to do their thing and eventually get you their college football playoff rankings, but we don't need to wait for all that. We saw the games yesterday. We're going to talk about our nothing but ball college football playoff rankings right now, but first things first, make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. I want to hear from y'all, all right? So make sure you get in the comment section, and if you're subscribed, it lets us know so we can kind of give those a little bit extra attention. Also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Pickell. Want to hear from y'all. It's a great place for us to hear from y'all. So let's get right to it, man. At number 6, I got the Texas Longhorns. And Texas, I think the last couple of weeks, the eye test left something to be desired. I say last couple of weeks up to the TCU game. Iowa State game, felt like Texas sort of restabilized themselves with Quinn Ewers back at quarterback. And this last game against Texas Tech on Friday, that was a statement in every sense with how dominant they were in that spot. The thing with me for Texas, and we said this in our one-off video about the Longhorns, man, like they are for real. Everyone's going to talk about Texas. Are they back? Are they not back? I don't know. We'll talk about that when it gets here, when it's time to talk about them being back. But right now, I see a team in Texas that is set to head to Jerry World and set to potentially win the conference before they throw up the deuces and head to the SEC. So they're so poised, and they have met so many different moments throughout the year to where if they do find themselves in the college football playoff and in this Big 12 title game against Oklahoma State, that moment won't be too big for them. It won't be too big for them. So they're headed to Jerry World, are the Longhorns, number 6 right now, but they could be one of those move makers here when it comes to Selection Sunday. Keep an eye on Coach Sark and the boys. At number 5, we got Oregon, and they have earned their title shot, man. How many times have we come in here on Sunday morning and said, you know what, Oregon, top 4 caliber team. Hey, if they can just get that second shot at Washington, then you can sleep peacefully at night if you're in Eugene. And just know at the end of the day, at least you put yourself in that arena to have a chance to punch your ticket to the college football playoff. Because the committee keeps telling us they like Oregon a lot. The committee, I think, actually is right on the money with Oregon. I think the eye test for them, they check a ton of boxes. I love the way they're built. And the thing with me for Oregon, we are yet to see them be impacted by the external circumstances heading into a game. They lost to Washington, not because of the spot, because Washington's a really good football team. But after that game, there was no letdown. There was no recalibration. There was no, is Oregon still Oregon? How are they going to handle losing? Like every single week, Oregon hits the reset button and plays their best football. And we've seen them make statements here week in and week out. So they're at 5 this week, but Oregon, they're going to have a chance, I believe, to punch their ticket if they beat Washington in that Pac-12 title game this upcoming Friday. At number 4, you got Florida State. And we say it a lot with them. It does not matter who's playing quarterback for them. You could plug me in and you could have me in a jersey and have me taking snaps for Florida State. I don't know if we win a lot of football games, but if we did win all our football games, if we are undefeated, you cannot keep us out of the dance. What I'm trying to say is Jordan Travis, you wish he was playing, but him not being your quarterback, if you're undefeated, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you will have an indisputable resume of being an undefeated ACC champion, and you'll be in there. So wherever the committee puts you this week, don't worry about it. We got you in the top 4. So Florida State, I think they are a top 4 team, and the key for them now going forward is can they adapt their game plan to Tate Rodemaker, and can they adapt their style of play to Tate Rodemaker? And what I mean by that is it's going to take a little bit more of the run game, like we saw against Florida. It's going to take more on that defense, what we've seen them do week in and week out. Going to need a little bit extra weight on their shoulders. They handled that great this week against Florida. Hostile environment. Jared Verse goes and gets 2.5 sacks. The team as a whole gets 6 sacks. Like, they're going to be okay, I think, is Florida State. They have a roster to win the ACC against Louisville, even without Jordan Travis. Can they adapt their style of play is what's going to matter for them when it comes to the college football playoff, should they end up handling business and find themselves in the dance. At number 3, you got Washington. They just keep on finding ways to win, man. Like right there on the doorstep of defeat, Kalen DeBoer dials up a little reverse to Rome Odunze on 4th and short to get the first down and keep the thing rolling. I think they were somewhere inside their own territory. I want to say they were close to their own 30. Bottom line, this team continues to win. They're undefeated. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward sentence to say if they beat Oregon in that Pac-12 title game, they're in the dance. Now, we'll have our prediction for that game here this upcoming Tuesday on our live show. Another reason to be subscribed. We'll give you our pick in that one. But Washington at number 3, I don't think there's a ton of argument to be made about their resume, what they are. They got that big 0 in the loss column. The main thing stays the main thing for the Huskies. They will be in the dance if they handle business. Now at number 2, you got Michigan, and we could talk a lot about the game. We could talk a lot about the way they beat Ohio State. We could talk about the fact that they outrushed them yet again. We could talk about the fact that they turned Kyle McCord over not once but twice, one to win the game. But what I think you talk about with Michigan is there was so much external noise. So much, well, they were only good because of Connor Stallions and the sign stealing gay and the way that they cheated. And if they did cheat, if that ends up being 110% proven, and I think that, quite frankly, just so we're all on the same page, I think they probably did break the rules and probably did gain an advantage. But we were kind of kidding ourselves with this conversation saying, well, that's why they're good. That's why they beat Ohio State the last couple of years. Michigan's just really good. Michigan's just got double-digit NFL players on their roster, and they got a quarterback who makes plays with his legs, who is a differentiator for them in the game against Ohio State, where they weren't quite as dominant on the ground. Still the better team on the ground, but not quite as dominant like we'd seen the last couple of seasons. Like, bottom line, Michigan is built for it, and I'm excited to see what they do going forward. You would expect them to handle business in the Big Ten title game, but again, we'll give you our pick for that one. Michigan, number 2 this week in the college football playoff rankings for us on the Nothing But Ball poll. And number 1, no surprise, Georgia won a different style of game against Georgia Tech, but they didn't have a lot of their studs in that game. They were on the road. It was a rivalry game. No Brock Bowers, no Ladd McConkey. Still, Georgia, so versatile in the kind of games they can play against you. You want to play between the trenches and have it be, a slow, methodical kind of game. They can play that way. Hey, it's a shootout. We got to score 30, 40 to win. They can play that way. So I'm excited to see what they do in Atlanta against Alabama. But the depth they have at this point in the year, we said this on a previous video as well, depth at this point in the year in college football, a lot like money. You can't hide it. Everyone needs it to some degree. In Georgia, they've got a pretty big budget when it comes to their depth. So they're number 1 right now in the country for us. Expect nothing different when it comes to the college football playoff rankings. Excited to see how the chips fall here on a conference championship Saturday. All these teams obviously have earned their right to play this upcoming weekend, and I can't wait to watch it. So to recap it for you, Texas at 6, Oregon at 5, Florida State at 4. Just keep on adapting and doing your thing. Washington remaining undefeated. Michael Penix Jr. or Roma Dunze. That's a lethal combo, man. Michigan at 2, Georgia at 1. That's our college football playoff rankings. Tune in to the channel this week to find out our full top 10. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Pickell to find our full top 10 on those social channels. Hey, appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.